This podcast is rated M. This is the M-Balm Effect, your one-stop shop for unfiltered discussions.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 247. I'm your host, the one, the only, the M-Balm, here live and in living color. Not really, I'm recorded. This is a recorded episode. I'm going to tell you, I was not planning on doing this, actually. I wasn't planning on doing this at all. Not at all. The only thing I was going to do today was do a blacktop breakdown, because I have a little something I wanted to talk about, and I thought for a second it was going to work, but it's been very hot out today. And unfortunately, due to that fact, the equipment I was using was not working. Yeah, I know, it's a surprise. It's a real shock. Well, unfortunately, since that happened, because I was actually in the midst of recording this blacktop breakdown, which I thought was going well. I thought it was going pretty well. And I thought to myself, it's going too well. And then the camera decided to shut off because it overheated and the car was air conditioned and everything. Doesn't matter. When it's like 90 degrees out or hotter than that, it's just not going to work. So I've learned in my life that was just not going to happen. And unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. And so I had to do that the way I had to do it. I just said, screw it. When I get home, I'll do a show. I'll do an episode. Why not? Because that's what I like to do. So I've been out since 6 in the morning, and it's now a little after 4. And I said, why not? I'll do a little bit of a show. I'll do a little episode. Wasn't planning on it, but I'll do what I can for our loyal listeners, our fans, and all that stuff, and little housekeeping. So it's been quite a while, I'm going to be honest with you. And I know I talk about mental health and stuff a lot, and I know I've posted something today on the Facebook page of the M-Balm Effect. And before I go on any further, I just want to say, please, if you haven't already, go to the M-Balm Effect YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell. Helps us grow, helps us continue to do the show, and it's free of charge. The support you give us, it doesn't go unnoticed. It's free. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who have followed us, not only from day one, but even if from yesterday or even if you found us today. Does not matter. It goes without saying. We thank you. We appreciate you when we see you. I know everybody and their brother likes to compare podcasts on our level to podcasts like Theo Von and Joe Rogan and all that stuff. And nothing wrong with their show. Whatever. They do what they do. But they're multimillionaires and they have celebrity status. A lot of these people that follow podcasts are following podcasts that were brought to light by people who are already with notoriety and all the money in the world to market their podcast. And so when you say things like, well, you don't have the numbers like Joe Rogan or Theo Von, of course we're not going to have those numbers. We've been doing this from the ground up for 6 years. And I didn't do a Hollywood show or become an announcer or a commentator for a UFC event or anything like that. We started right from the ground up doing this show the way it's been done for 6 years. And we may have a few thousand listeners and followers and all that stuff collectively from Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. And it's a lot. It's overwhelming. The social media aspect of it is it's overwhelming. Okay? It really is. And for someone like me, if I didn't have this show, I wouldn't even be on social media. I don't care for it. It's just not my thing. But the fact is, we care about all of you that show up and listen to our show and engage with us when we're live and, leave comments on posts. And I know that social media algorithms are hard to battle and not everyone gets it. Not everyone gets it. And I know that. Sometimes we go live, people don't even see that we're live, specifically Facebook for the most part. That's why I try to drive everyone to YouTube to do the notification bell and all that. So that way when we go live That way you can jump on the show when we're live. You can call into the show when we're live. You can chat with us on the chat. And you get to talk with us in real time, and we get to discuss some crazy things. We get to discuss hot topic buttons, or hot button topics. Topic buttons, Jesus Christ. My day, it's been a long time. Let's put it that way. Months. And, behind the scenes, you see what you see, right? We talk about, we laugh, we have good times, we talk about heavy-hitting things, we make jokes. And sometimes we dabble into the mental health aspect of it because it's important. And honestly, it's important because other co-hosts go through the mental health aspect. I myself go through the mental health aspect. I've touched upon it a lot. And it's tough, man, because there's so much going on. There's so many moving parts in life. And that's the thing. Like, you can watch your Theo Von, Joe Rogan, whatever whatever you love to listen to. And I know for a fact as human beings go through something, but I think it's cool. I think it's not only cool, but like it's authentic. And I hate to say it, but our society is not about authenticity anymore. They like what they see on Instagram and TikTok because, oh my God, look at this guy. He's standing by a fucking, Lamborghini. He must be the fucking king of the shit. It's like, to me, that's just bullshit. It's just nonsense. I don't give a shit about that stuff. When I go on Instagram and I see stuff like that, I go, you know what? Cool. Good for you. You probably rented the car, did a photo shoot, and then that was it. And you probably buy your followers. You probably buy your likes and views, which you won't ever see us do that shit. We've been 6 years in, and we grow this shit organically. And perfectly fine with me because you know what? I would much rather have that than to buy followers and shit. Like, what do you do? First of all, you're screwing up the algorithm, mind you. Because what ends up happening is you're not going to get an authentic, organic reach doing that. You're fucking up your algorithms, and the people that might actually enjoy your content or whatever it is you're doing, they'll never see it. Because you have robots and shit just following you because you bought all this stuff. And we get it all the time through DMs and emails and, oh, you can grow your followers by just buying your way to the top. It's like, no, fuck you, okay? You email us that shit, goodbye. We're not even going to read it. As soon as we see anything that's going to lead into that conversation, we don't read it. And by we, I mean me. I don't read it. If it's an authentic person giving us an actual email, I read it. And I know that we're not going to always reply to you. It's just, we live busy lives. We're just like you. We have a job, we have families, we got everything going on behind the scenes. So when you start putting those things together, time is of the essence. It's not even, I know it's cliche, but it's not even a joke. It's reality. Time is of the essence. At this point in time in my life, at 34 years old, I'm trying to spend my time more with family. Do you understand? I have a wife, I have a son, and I want to spend as much time with them as possible. And the co-hosts are spending as much time with their families and all that stuff as possible too. And that's why I understand this stuff. It's the same thing with people that don't get to tune in every time we're live because they're trying to do other things. Like summertime, they're out doing things with their families, and I get it. I don't fault anybody for that. That's why our show is always available, even after the fact. You can watch the show after we go live. We record an episode. You can watch it anytime, listen to it anytime you want. And I think it's important to do that. I do. I think it's very important to do that. But in my personal life, right now, I'm trying my best to just spend as much time with them, my side of the family, her side of the family. I want to be able to spend time with the family. And sometimes that's going to happen where we just don't do a show every week. It's going to happen. And I just want you to understand that it's not, because I know there's people out there that like to say things like, oh, they're not putting as much effort in. That's not true, okay? We try to do what we can with this show and bring out a lot of the stuff that we bring out for you. We care about this show. We care about you guys that are following us. We want to make sure that we continue to make content. And even if it's a blacktop breakdown, like I tried to do today, I wasn't planning on coming into the studio. I wasn't. But I was like, you know what? I want to do something. specifically because I was going to talk about something in Blacktop Breakdown, which I'll talk about today on this episode. And it's a continuous thing that I've brought up before, but it's just, are we really going this way? And I'll get to that in just a moment. But, like, mental health, right? I've been going through a lot of shit. And I'm not somebody who's I'm not a social butterfly by any stretch of the imagination. But, like, this past week, this past couple months, I should say. I guess you could say, like, I feel it's just not easy to talk about stuff like this always. And sometimes you feel like you're just continuously getting kicked down when you're already trying to get up and you're already down and you're like trying to get back up and try to get your bearings straight. And then just life kicks you back down right in the mouth. And sometimes people get to a point where they just feel like they're better off not existing anymore. Some people feel like their loved ones and all that would be better off if they weren't around anymore. And, you know, I think it's important to talk about stuff like that. Now, I know people get upset or uncomfortable with these conversations. And I've said it before. Depression and all that is like a vat of oil and you're just sinking down. Well, I was sinking pretty down this past week. And, you know, I feel bad because it's like I don't want to be spending time with my family miserable. Our son's birthday was yesterday, and we did our best we took him out, spent time with my side of the family. We went to her side of the family, and it was great, you know, for the most part. It was good. But in my mind, I'm like, dude, depression was weighing on me. You know, and we went to Seabreeze on Saturday, and, you know, it was hot out, and everybody was just kind of hot and miserable. And, you know, it was one of those things like, I hate to be that guy who's miserable and depressed. I don't want to drag anyone down. But it's, you know, I think it's important to be able to talk to your significant other. And I'm trying right now as a husband, trying to work that out. And it's cool because, like, you know, my wife and we're both introverts at heart. And I know, what are you doing on a fucking microphone with a camera in front of you? What are you, stupid? You're an introvert, but you do this? Like, yeah, this is like my outlet. So, you know, I try to talk to her about stuff, and it's not always easy for me to open up like that. And I'm like, look, you know, this is how I feel. Sometimes I feel like, and especially at this stage in my life, it's like, dude, sometimes you feel as if life I don't know how to explain this. Other than it's almost like you're just kind of going through this, waiting for something to happen. And you're trying to do the best you can with career and spend, you know, time management and your dreams and goals and all that stuff. And I know this sounds silly to especially people that are older than me, but like 34, it's it's a daunting task to think about this, but 40 is not that far off. And then you start thinking to yourself, how much time do I have left? And how much time of that is going to be spent doing the same shit I'm doing now and not feeling like I'm making progress? Now, I'm not saying that I haven't made progress in terms of like how I am successful and all that stuff with career choices and all that. Yes, we own our own house. Yes, we have a child. And, you know, we're doing okay. But the reality of it is we haven't really gone on a vacation. We've been working a lot of hours, and we haven't really been going on a vacation since 2017, the year we got together. And it's dawning on me, like, you know, that's 8 years ago? And I'm thinking to myself, how much, I was 26 when we went on our last vacation. We drove from here to Florida, and we went to Disney. I took Kat to Disney. That was fun. You know, she'd never been. I only went once when I was in my teens. That's it. You know, we drove down there, and it was quite an adventure. And I want to do more stuff like that because I feel like we all are on borrowed time. We're not going to live forever. And, you know, there's somebody that I won't give out too much information, but there's somebody that lives near a family member who passed away unexpectedly at a very was a very young age, I'd say. And if you pass away in your 40s, 50s, it's still premature if you ask me. And it's young. And this person passed away unexpectedly, and I'd say they're a little over a decade older than I am. And I've had people that died when I was in my 20s, when they were 36 and all that. And I get to a point where I'm like, God, is it? It's scary. And you start to think about the stuff that, mortality comes to realization. Like you look at it and go, wow, that. Now I understand everyone has a different circumstance. And I understand that everybody lives different lifestyles and has different health things, and it's daunting to think about. For instance, I've been in the paranormal field, and I know people scoff at paranormal and all that, but too bad. I would be in your boat too, not believing if I was like you and never experienced anything. But I've experienced things in my life, and I've talked about them on this show, especially at a very young age. If I didn't experience those things, I would be with you as a skeptic and not believe in it, because I'm a skeptic at heart. But I have no other choice but to believe in it because I have experienced things. And quite honestly, I like to dive into that stuff. There was a guy, so 2012, I was 21 at the time, and we went to this thing. It was like a little meeting or something that people that were interested in the paranormal they got together. And I met this guy and his girlfriend. I won't give away names because I don't want to give away privacy to these people. I understand that, not everyone's going to want to be mentioned on a show. This guy was 36, and he was interested. This is September, mind you, of 2012. He was 36, and he was interested in the paranormal. He said he never experienced anything, but he wants to. And we got to talking. Like, him and I had gotten to a point where we actually were going to start something online. And we were going to do investigations and all that. And he was going to join us and do these things. And we went on a couple investigations. The Cartwright Inn in Henrietta, that was still in enough shape to be able to be investigated. If you look at it today, I don't think you're able to go in that building. I think that building's so far gone now that I don't even think, safety-wise, I don't think you're allowed to even go in there. But it was a restaurant that was, I think, closed down in 2004. And we went and investigated that place. And it was an interesting time. I think I still have video of it somewhere on one of my video cameras or on my hard drives. But, we got to talking and all that. And I believe we went to another place and we investigated another place. Fast forward to that December of 2012. I get a phone call from my mom, and she says, "Are you sitting down?" I go, "Yeah. Why?" And she's like, You won't believe what I'm about to tell you." And she tells me this guy passes away. I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Dude, you're supposed to investigate the paranormal, not join them." But that was a real eye-opener at 21. And earlier that year, I lost a close friend at 21. She passed away at 21, and her and I knew each other since kindergarten, I guess you could say. And that already hit me hard. And then this hit me hard, and I'm like, God, at 21, I'm thinking about death. And I know it's like, okay, yeah, you're young. What's the chances of that happening? Blah blah blah. I get it. And over the years, I've lost people in their 20s. Passing away, 30s, passing away, 40s. But the mortality part of it comes to you after a while, and you think to yourself, how much time do I realistically have? Nobody knows what's going to happen. And a lot of us take life for granted. We wake up thinking that the next day is going to be granted to us. It's not. It's not always the case. And this guy that was a neighbor to this person I'm related to, they went out of town and they didn't make it back. And it's sad. And I didn't know this person well. I knew of them. But to think that you leave everyone behind so prematurely, it's scary. It's very scary. And I hate to say it, but like, none of us are promised tomorrow. None of it. Not a single one of us is promised tomorrow. Even at 30-something, 40-something years old, you're not promised anything. Now, I understand some people make their own choices, and it leads them down this path that unfortunately leads them to the end result of passing away. You know, I understand that certain addictions and all that can run you to that point. And obviously, that's not something anybody would want for anybody. But what really gets me is like these shocking moments of people passing away for no reason. Like you didn't anticipate, like there was nothing going on that would even warn you that something like this was going to happen. And this is one of those moments. But, and the same thing goes for some of the people that I knew along the way that unfortunately passed away so young. But, you know, that's also a thing that's taxing on your mental health. You think about this stuff and you're like, man, is there anything I can do to prevent that? And there may be some things like get healthier and all that stuff, but that's never going to guarantee the outcome. I worked with a guy who, he was built like a monster, man. This guy he was the coolest, most down-to-earth dude, and he was heavily into the gym, man. He was given, you know, like we would talk about stuff, and you know, I always enjoyed our conversations. And he passed away at 41. And that was because during COVID, he had somehow gotten a very rare form of cancer. That, I mean, he had surgeries on his neck and in his brain, I believe, and it just, and to know that he left a family behind, his kids, and it's just, it's stuff like that that just really, it's scary. And it makes you think a little bit differently in life. Like, they didn't have a chance. They didn't have a choice. And sometimes we think about things we shouldn't be thinking about. Like, would I be better off gone? Would people I know and care about be better off if I wasn't here? Some people think that. And then you think about things like that, where people didn't have a choice at a young age. And I think you should put it into perspective. And sitting here right now, I'm level-headed. I'm not currently depressed in my thoughts. I'm actually able to sit here and do this recorded episode and kind of talk about this stuff. And I think it's important to talk about it. And I like to have co-hosts and stuff that I'm able to have a conversation with, but sometimes I think it's good to sit here by myself. And it was a little scary at first to do these solo episodes, but I think the more I do them, the more I understand the premise. Like today, I don't have any prep except for the one thing I want to talk about, other than what I'm talking about right now, because it's real. It's genuine. It's coming out of my heart. It's not something that, oh, it's a topic we need to talk. Like, each episode's different. Okay, if you're brand new to the M-Balm Effect, every episode's different. The last episode we did, number 246, a little different than today. We had a returning co-host, ex-co-host that, you know, came in, Zookeeper. Matt Delberth came in, Austin was here, and we were cracking jokes and talking about some things, and it was fun. And then you have episodes like this, where it gets deep-rooted. And I think sometimes having a deep-rooted conversation, regardless of it being with a guest or a co-host or by myself, I think it's important to get it out there. And what's cool is, like, you get to see this and you get to comment down below your experiences with mental health and maybe premature deaths and stuff like that. And I think it's important to talk about it because we all go through it. We all experience this stuff. And unfortunately, I hate to say this, but we're all going to experience death ourselves, not just witnessing someone else that we care about or know or anything like that dying. We ourselves are going to die someday too. And I know it's not a comfortable conversation or discussion to have. It's not going to be. But it's one that needs to be had. And that also gives me more incentive to want to investigate the paranormal. which, I have an idea in my head. Summer's winding down, and typically I try to get at a location at least once a year, at least. I would like to do more, but I can't always find the time. But I like to I have a brand new idea in my head for the next location, should we find one, which I'm sure we will. And I have a brand new idea that I want to try out and dive into it. Now, I know everybody's like, well, how do you know it's the paranormal? How do you know it's the afterlife? I don't. I got different theories. It could be very well a parallel universe we're interacting with. I don't know. Nobody knows. Not one person can tell you. Now, I know, and I would love to get somebody as a guest on this show to talk about maybe a near-death experience. If you had one, reach out. The M-Balm Effect at gmail.com. Email us, DM us. I would like to be interested to hear your story. I've never talked to anybody that really had, I never had a deep conversation with anybody, let's put it that way, that had a near-death experience. I would love to. And I think it would be important to get that experience across to anybody and everybody that is able to watch or listen. And I would like to have that conversation. Now, I understand that everyone's experience is different. Some people experience nothing. And that is also part of my theory of death, is that sometimes it's just, I would say, sometimes I think it's nothing. Maybe there's nothing after this. Who knows? Other times, it makes you wonder if you're going to go on to a different realm. But ultimately, I know we're not supposed to be dwelling on this stuff, but it's something that I do wholeheartedly believe that we should at least be cognizant of. We should be discussing this and having conversations about this, because we're all going to experience it one way or another. Everybody wants to go based off of skin color, religion, sexual orientation. You want to be different, but ultimately we're all human beings, and I don't care what you say. We all experience this for sure at one point or another. And all this other stuff that we like to divide ourselves with is irrelevant. It's not important. Like, seriously, if you sit there and think about it, it's not important. We all are human beings living this life that we don't understand. Because we don't understand it. We can't understand it. It's something that I don't think humanity will ever understand wholeheartedly. I don't think so. Especially now that we're getting into artificial intelligence, I think we're starting to kind of move away from that. We're kind of dividing into a different path now, and it's just a whole different path that's just going to cause a lot of different issues. And ultimately, the way I look at it is, we're going to just kind of forget about what we originated from. But even if you look at it in the sense of, okay, yeah, sure, we could technically keep digging into this stuff. I would say the percentage of us ever finding out how we existed and why we are here is very low. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, at least in our lifetime. But if it ever comes to fruition and somebody figures it out, cool. I'm not going to be here. I don't think our generation's going to be here. You think about it. Think about how many generations have already passed. And even in the technological advances we've had in today's society, we have not even figured out any of that stuff. Even in our own oceans, we don't even know what's going on in our own planet. So how are we supposed to figure out how we even got here to begin with? That's just it. So stuff like that, you think about it and go, okay. But personally, it doesn't stop me from being curious. And it shouldn't stop you either. We should always have these conversations regardless if we find out what it is or not. Because I think it's important, and that it's one line of existence that connects us all together. People want to connect to each other via politics and, again, religion and all that stuff. That stuff's irrelevant, okay? Ultimately, that stuff's irrelevant. This, our existence, how we got here, and ultimately where we end up, we're all connected to that. And whether we like to admit it or not, we all experience it one way or another. It sucks. Like, it would be cool if we could prolong our lives. But, you know, we all can't just be here forever. And death comes to collect us all. And so we should really take things into perspective and enjoy the things that we have in this life that we're living, even when it's dark and bleak. And sometimes I need that message myself, especially this weekend. It was tough, man. I was in that vat of oil mentally. It was horrible. You know, dealing with like physical pain. I've been dealing with that. I had to have a broken tooth extracted. I'm going through this process now to get an implant, which takes up to almost a year. It's like 9 months. Shout out to the lady that recognized me at the dentist office. I think her name is Mandy. Shout out to her, man. That was surreal. Because usually I was not expecting that at the dentist office. When I heard the proverbial words, "You look familiar. Do you have a podcast?" I'm like, oh no. No, but it was a positive conversation. We had a good conversation. She knows Jeff Pierce, who is a friend of mine I've had on the show a couple times now. And I think the last episode was really important. If you didn't check that out, check it out. I did that in his tattoo parlor, his tattoo studio called Nexus Tattoo. And I thought that was a really cool episode. But it was one of those surreal moments, though. Like, I'm like, I did not, especially in that incident, I was like, I did not see that coming. But, you know, having this procedure done and all that wasn't the most mentally positive thing I've gone through. It sucks when you have to extract a tooth from your mouth because it's broken and it's giving you a whole bunch of jaw pain and all that stuff. And I'm good now. You know, it's just now I have to go through the process of getting this implant, which is fun. But I will say it was a cool experience to meet somebody who's seen the show and gave me positive feedback. It was cool. It's cool. And not to say that I never got positive feedback on this show. I mean, look, I get it. There's some people that don't care for the show, and that's fine. Whatever. I don't care. You know, if you focus on all that negativity, you won't survive. You will not survive. You know, I've had people come in here as guests, give me a lot of good feedback. And I'm glad to be able to make people that come in here feel at home and feel comfortable. Because I know this is not the easiest thing for people to do. It's getting in front of a camera and getting behind a microphone and talking about life experiences and whatever it is that they're doing. It's not going to be easy. This wasn't easy for me at first. I had prior experience in front of a camera and all that years ago. So that kind of helps me. But as an introvert at heart, this is really unrealistic for people like me that, you know, are kind of introverted. And I think that's a good conversation to have with co-hosts and maybe even a guest, is like introvert versus extrovert and all that good stuff. I think that would be a cool conversation to have. But ultimately, dude, like, you can't stand in your own way. If this is something you're passionate about, which I think podcasting has gone in a different direction lately, and it's cool that it's getting more mainstream. But unfortunately, mainstream means celebrity millionaires who are at the top of the mountain and some people that have no fucking business having a podcast whatsoever just because they made some statement at a bar when they were drunk. And that didn't go so well, especially after a meme coin happened. We know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to even mention the name anymore. I'm done. Fuck it. I'm not even going to mention it. You know who I'm talking about. Not everyone needs a podcast. Maybe I don't even need a podcast. But the problem is we don't have a lot of people living in the real world that have the ambition to continue a podcast, doing these things, having these conversations, and having real people as guests on, doing cool things that like music artists in this area or around the globe. I can do remote guests. And, you know, how many times, I mean, why do we not want to know what's going on with somebody who we can relate to? I can't relate to somebody like Kid Rock on Joe Rogan, not only with opinion-wise, but like The dude's a multi-millionaire. I can't relate to that dude. And to be honest with you, when I hear people that are multi-millionaires and are celebrities and have armed guards and live in fucking mansions that are like bunkers, and they can't relate to people like us who are struggling. I mean, we're all struggling. The cost of living is fucking outrageous. We all know this. And nothing's gotten better. I know that people think that, I'm not going to get into the political side, but I know people think one side or the other is going to help. It's not. Said that multiple times on this show. It starts with us. And unfortunately, people that have businesses, if you keep buying things at a higher rate, they're just going to keep raising the prices up. And you hear it all the time. Oh, this company's at a record profit high. Well, of course. All this shit about, oh, it's going to cost me more money to do this and do that, blah, 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 blah. They're still making hand over fist. But the point I'm trying to make is it's cool to see podcasting become more mainstream. I just wish that more people on the real level are able to at least have a chance and get up there. And some people have. But all the heavy hitters, they're celebrities. Every comedy, every comedian, every actor, every actress, every influencer, don't even fucking get me going on that. I cannot stand that word. Every OnlyFans, like all these people that come out of the woodwork trying to create their own podcast and they have millions overnight. It's like, dude, it's not realistic. It's not realistic. The only reason why they got there so quickly and as fast as they did is because they have the notoriety from doing this, that, and the other. And I'm not saying that's terrible, but when people compare apples to oranges, what are you trying to compare? So it is what it is. I'm happy with the community we've built over the last 6 years. New and old. I'm happy with anybody that has interacted with us. And if you comment on a post or you come into the live shows and chat with us or you call into the show. And it's not just anybody just from Rochester or the surrounding areas. I mean, look at one of our favorite listeners over in New York City, Annalise. She's from New York City. And we appreciate her. You don't have to be from Rochester or like Canandaigua or whatever for us to interact with you or acknowledge you. We got listeners that are out of the country that interact with us on live chats, out of state, and to me that's cool. To be able to do that is cool. So, I'm not gonna sit here and say and lie to you and say, oh, I don't need or want millions of followers. No, it's a goal, it's a desire, sure. But at the same time, appreciate those who have followed you or interact with you that you have. Enjoy the community and appreciate the community you have today. I think a lot of people forget that. Even if you have 5 people that are tuning in the beginning, right? You start off, you're a month or two in, you got like a handful of people following you on your Facebook page, your YouTube, you have like 10 subscribers. Start from somewhere and appreciate those that are following you. You don't need to just forget them and focus on the big picture. I'm not saying you shouldn't focus on the big picture. What I'm saying is appreciate those that you have in your community today. Because I know some people haven't done that, and I know some people don't do that. And to me, that's a shitty thing to do. We're not them kind of people. We appreciate you and wholeheartedly. And we appreciate you when you check out the M-BalmEffect.com because we have some cool stuff on there. So if you want to support the show, Represent the Dirty, go on there. We have t-shirts. We have mugs, hats. I don't know what to do for new stuff, but winter's coming. Maybe a new hoodie. I don't know. We'll have to see, right? Let's see. I try to make things affordable because I'm not one of those people that are trying to... It costs money to make this stuff. But I'm also not one of those people that are going to charge you something like $80, $90 for something I can make for $30, $40. That's ridiculous. I'm not trying to... I make a living already doing other things. If I can get something out there for people to enjoy and be able to say, hey, look, I have a piece of their merch, blah, 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 and have it at a really affordable rate and in very reasonable price, that's what I want to do. But I think wholeheartedly that the more we grow, the more we can do. I'm slated to go to New Jersey next week. It's going to be hard. It always is. It's always hard to be away from family and all that. But I have to go for a business endeavor. And while I'm not doing business stuff, there's a specific place not far from where I'm going that is, I guess you could say, touted as the most haunted road in America, if not the world. That road is Clinton Road. This road, in particular, there's a lot of things that go hand in hand with it. And we can dive into it if you want. We can dive into it. But I may or may not take a trip down this road. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do a nighttime one. That sounds a little too risky. It all depends on how ballsy I feel, honestly. But it's a road I've been eyeing for a long time. And I will tell you this. I've mentioned it on the show before. Probably a few years ago. During maybe a Halloween episode, I think. But I can tell you right now, this road, it's not something for the faint of heart, I can tell you. It's approximately 10 miles long. And there's some not so good things that have happened on that road. To be honest with you, it's a little nerve-wracking when you think about stuff like this because you know damn well that it's not going to be easy. And yeah, I'm gonna show you. Okay, here we go. So this is on weirdnewjersey.com. This is Clinton Road, a dark ride. This article was posted March 20th, 2024. It says, on a recent visit to the bridge at Dead Man's Curve, we were surprised and delighted to see how many people had recently stopped by to test the validity of the legend of the ghost boy of Clinton Road. So this is like Dead Man's Curve right here from what you're seeing. And this is probably the most common ghost story that we hear about Clinton Road is that a dead young boy who hangs out under a bridge and returns coins to you after you throw them in the water. As far as we know, this tale is unique to Clinton Road, but it is difficult to say when or how this story began. On a recent visit to the bridge at Dead Man's Curve, we were surprised and delighted to see just how many people had recently stopped by to test the validity of the legend of the ghost boy out in Clinton Road. As we peered over the guardrail and down into the tea-colored water of the stream, we could clearly see dozens of coins resting on the bottom among the stones of the creek bed. There's no way of knowing how many appearances the ghost boy made when summoned by the coin tossers. So, I have to be honest with you. I don't know the validity of this claim. I don't. And honestly, I would like to know. I can't for sure tell if there's a ghost boy. I know it sounds absolutely crazy, and I would think that too. I'd be like, okay, whatever, sure, wow, yeah, whatever. And I would think that had I not experienced shit when I was younger, like the headless dude walking around with a blue windbreaker jacket in the mirror at a house I lived in as a kid. In the mirror, only the mirror. Not in the physical realm, only in the mirror. Headless dude walking back and forth. Got my mom, came back to the bathroom, it's gone. Doesn't exist anymore. And you experienced that as like a 6-year-old. I don't know. I don't remember how old I was. I just know it was the mid-90s, so I was young. And that's why I'm interested in the paranormal today. But there's so many different things that apparently happen in this road. Like the ghost boy pushes you in the lake. I don't know if that's true. There's apparently a castle that once stood there in this area. The unholy, there's a lot of things that are not good that happen on this road. It says the albinos of Clinton Road. One time when a bunch of us climbed up the walls, we did see something. We were up there and saw two white figures. They were about 100 yards away from our friends on the ground. They couldn't see them from their vantage point. They came to within 100 yards of the group and then disappeared into the woods. When we get back to the terra firma, we told them about it, and that's when the story started coming. There was instantly talk about an albino village in the woods. I don't know if that's true or not. However, it is very true that this is something that happens or has happened, but I think it still happens, unfortunately. The KKK in Cross Castle. So essentially what I'm trying to tell you right now is there are KKK meetings that happen somewhere in the woods in this road. There are people that have dumped bodies on this road. I don't know, I think it was like the 70s. I don't know if there's ties to, I believe, an organized crime group, family, whatever you want to call it, that have left bodies here at this road. There's satanic rituals that happen that have sacrifices in the woods. From what I understand, there are things that have happened on this road specifically today, like modern day, where people drive through it and there's a log in the middle of the road that's on fire. This is supposed to, I guess, warn you that something like that's going on. I don't know. Again, I don't know the validity of this. And I did see, however, though, that somebody had made a video on YouTube and there were remnants of a log and ash on the road. So I would say that that part of it's probably real. Why it's happening, I wouldn't say it's a good thing that it's happening. There's obviously something sinister going on there. But I can tell you right now, it's probably not safe to continue on when that log is burning at nighttime and it's pitch black out and you're driving through this road. Now, I will say, there is one specific thing that this road has that some people have not experienced and others have. And that is of this phantom pickup truck that chases you down and tailgates you and tries to run you off the road at night. Pitch black. There's no lights. There's woods on both sides of you. And the road ain't that big. From what I understand, I don't know if it's a phantom truck or not. It might be a local trying to fuck with everybody that's trying to go down this road at night, 3 a.m. From what I understand, this truck, you see the headlights out of nowhere. It's just there. You look up and there they are. And this truck is supposed to be like tailgating your ass, trying to run you off the road, and you have to like pick up speed. And then after a while, this thing just disappears. There's nobody behind you anymore. This truck just vanishes out of nowhere. And it makes you wonder, like, what? No, like it could be a local, and it could be somebody fucking with you. I don't know. But the risk is still there. Because if it is a person, you don't know who the fuck it is. It could be somebody who's like a killer or something. And they just do this for fun. Because ultimately what has happened in the past is, from what I read, people where Dead Man's Curve is, where they have the wall now, it never existed. That's more recent. Before, they would just go right off the edge there and crash. There's memorial sites there of people who have done that, who have crashed on that road and unfortunately passed away. So again, I don't know if it's the most conducive thing to do if you want to go there at 3 a.m. or deep dark in the night. But it's a destination I'm willing to go to at least during the daytime. During the night, I don't know. But my plan is to at least experience that road in some capacity. And I don't know, maybe make some videos? I don't know. We'll see. It's not often I get to go to New Jersey. I don't think I've been in New Jersey since 2017. No, I know that for a fact. So this road is approximately a half hour away from where I'm going. At some point, when I have free time, I will be going down that road and checking it out. I think it's going to be nerve-wracking, but it is going to be something that I'm interested in doing. Tell me what you think about Clinton Road. Do you believe any of these stories? Perhaps maybe you went down that road yourself and maybe you have experience, or maybe you went down there and nothing happened. Regardless, down in the comments below, please. I'd like to know your experiences. I want to know what I'm getting myself into, please, and thank you if you can, elaborate a little bit. All right. On to the next topic, because this one, as a parent, it's daunting to think about the things that are going to happen down the road, specifically going to school. I want to know what you think of this. I know I've done a blacktop breakdown of this before, of another incident. I think we bring this stuff up a lot because it's more prevalent, and I just don't understand why we continue down this path. But there is an Illinois substitute teacher who had sex with an 11-year-old student during play dates. And this 32, 34-year-old woman, there's a lot of different articles out there that have different ages. I'll show you this right here. Here's the article on this one, Fox 32. It says, an Illinois substitute teacher pleaded guilty to having sex with her 11-year-old student during what was described as play dates at her home, reports said. So, hold on a second. Let me just get this straight, okay? As a parent of an 11-year-old, boy, girl, whatever, can somebody elaborate on this? The desire, or at least the mindset of allowing your kid to stay at some adult's home, like a teacher's. Like, I don't know anybody that I went to school with that stayed at a teacher's house overnight, especially at 11 years old. I don't recall anybody I know, or myself included, that would even want to go to a teacher's house and spend the night. So I'm just kind of wondering where this came from. And I know people will be, well, maybe she's got a kid and they were friends and they were doing a sleepover. Yeah, this is not that situation. This is completely different. None of the articles I've read have said anything like that. This is more or less, this happened and there's no good reason why. We'll go back to this right here. The victim's mother reported noticing her son acting differently after a visit to Bardfield's house. Yeah, Alley Bardfield, who's like 32, 34 years old, had this kid at her house. And quite frankly, I'm just not understanding why. Because why would you have a student at your house? Why would they be staying the night? Doesn't make any sense. As a result, she checked her son's phone and social media. In a follow-up discussion with her son, he disclosed having a sexual encounter with Bardfield while a guest at her Zion residence on March 29, 2024. These allegations are shocking, especially when the alleged perpetrator is a person in a position of trust. It's not so shocking in today's world because we keep going down this path and nobody seems to really think much of it because, oh, he's a boy. It's his dream. It's my wet dream. You have gay hair. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, you shouldn't think that. It's not disturbing. You're just crazy. Only when it's a different gender, when it's a girl. No, boys love it. They love having sex with their teachers. You're an idiot, okay? You're an idiot. You're a clown. And maybe you should think about getting a head evaluation. There's something wrong with you if you think this is fine. Because there's mostly men out there who like to comment stupid things. Like the one dude on the one video I did on a Blacktop Breakdown. All he had to say was, gay hair. Good for you, buddy. Wow, you probably a 35, 40-year-old loser living in your mom's basement just mooching off or eating Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew and playing some lame-ass fucking game like Fortnite. I don't have to tell you. That's your life. You have nothing better to do, and then you have nothing to contribute to society except for going on YouTube and leaving comments. It's 2025. We shouldn't be saying gay like it's a fucking, whatever the case is. It doesn't matter. The point is, then you got other guys that are like, oh, disturbing. Oh, it's not disturbing. It's a wet dream of mine. Well, that's good for you. Good for fucking you. Again, you should have a psych evaluation if you want to be somebody in a position like this where you're having sex with your teachers, okay? Regardless, if you want to have a double standard, this is not the time nor the place. These are children, okay? They're children. This is what I was trying to talk about on the Blacktop Breakdown as the camera had a breakdown because it was 100 degrees out. And for whatever reason, there's people out there that think this is fine. I don't get it. It's sickening. It's really sickening. And people think, oh, it's a boy. Well, he wants it. It says the victim is a 6th grade student with DPS District 61. Alley Bardfield was a long-term substitute teacher assigned to his 6th grade class. Bardfield reportedly was let go from her position following arrest. Well, good. She shouldn't have had that job to begin with. She's obviously not she's not somebody who should have been trusted to begin with. She also admitted in police interviews to having sex with a student, giving him money in Cash App and sending him nude photos on Snapchat, according to WCIA. The mother noticed this on Cash App too, $700 sent from this teacher. And the fact that this bitch made a cognitive decision to send him nudes through Snapchat. But you want to know the real kicker here? I talked about another bitch that did this shit. Her husband, by the way, who's a cock, is holding her hand through the whole thing. This bitch decided to say, oh, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. This 11-year-old was coming on to me when he was at my house. Yeah, okay, honey. It's the 11-year-old's fault that you had sex with him. It's his fault. Because I'm sure at 11, he was going to manhandle you and rape you. No, bitch, you raped this kid. You sexually assaulted this 11-year-old boy, and you can't take accountability and responsibility for the shit that you did. Okay. And this is like the trend. Because the other bitch that was doing this, mind you, that specific little cunt, was a special ed teacher. Now, I don't know if the 14 or 15-year-old boy that she was messing around was in that class. Because if so, that's even more fucked up than it already is. But then she said, oh, I'm a victim of misogyny. I don't like being called a predator. Okay, but you are. You're a pred. And so is this bitch. Mind you, I don't like to call women the C word unless they deserve it. These predators, these pedophiles, fucking downright deserve that. And more. Because in this specific case, Alley Bardfield gets a plea deal. Why? I don't know why we're getting fucking predators plea deals. What they did was absolutely fucking horrible, and we're going to give them plea deals? Fuck that shit. Now, apparently from what I read on another article, she's going to get approximately up to 40 years in prison, and if she serves 85% of that, she gets to get out. Well, we know how things are, and I'm not sure if what Illinois looks like justice system-wise, but it wouldn't surprise me if she got out in like, I don't know, 10, 20 years. I think that's even too long. We see the trend. Look at specifically here in New York State. We let child predators go very prematurely, and for whatever reason, we're like, oh, why did they do it again? Oh, wow, they did a worse crime. They killed someone. Oh, wow. Surprise! But this shit really just irks me. Especially now that I'm a parent. And I understand, like, a lot of this shit over the years was men in these positions doing this with girls that are students. Obviously, that's fucked up. But what's even more fucked up now is that there's people out there defending this act. Oh, because it's a boy. He wanted it. Wow, really? Are you sure? How do you fucking know? I'm pretty sure the parents of these children don't fucking agree with that. I'm pretty fucking sure that they don't like the fact that their kid was having sex with a grown-ass woman that was working at a school that, you know, they're entrusted to have their children in and get taught by these people. Not fucked by these people. But, you know, I know out there some fucking idiot is going to say something along the lines of, I can't believe M-Balm's saying this shit. It's not disturbing. You must be jealous. You wish it was you. No, I don't. I actually don't. No, I don't wish it was me. I don't wish to be sexually assaulted by somebody who's 20, 30 years older than I am, and I'm in fucking school at 6th grade. I don't wish that. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I've had some younger teachers in school that I thought were decent looking, you know, like there were some women that I had as teachers that were really attractive in their 20s, 30s, far and few between. But never in my mind did I ever think, yeah, you know, we're going to fuck. and think fuck that these teachers, when I had them, weren't doing this shit, because it shouldn't be normal now. I don't know what the hell's going on here. All of a sudden, it's just like these, and they're not even ugly. They're women that could get men their age. If you want somebody younger, go for somebody in their 20s. I don't know what to tell you. Why does it gotta be a fucking 14-year-old, 11-year-old? What's next? And then they have the audacity to sit there and say, oh, it's not my fault. And especially this bitch. Oh, the 11-year-old came on to me. I couldn't help myself. He physically overpowered me. I couldn't handle it. Okay. Now, I don't know if that was exactly the word, but when I hear a grown woman, 30-something years old, say, he came on to me, it makes me think that she's trying to allude that this 11-year-old pinned her down and raped her. It's insanity. If If for once somebody could take responsibility and accountability, I don't know, something, maybe we can progress and get these assholes out of school systems. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It continuously goes down this road where people are okay with this. And they shouldn't be. And the justice system needs to do a better job. And I know it's not going to be 100% proof of getting these people out of school systems that are predators, but maybe we keep an eye on people a little bit to see their behaviors. I don't know. Something's got to give. Whether it's a dude or a woman in the school system doing predatory things, we don't want them, nor do we need them in the school system teaching our children. It's sad. It's sad that the world we live in has come to this, and it's only getting worse, seemingly, because nothing gets done. And then you have idiots on YouTube or Facebook or wherever that defend this shit. They're like, oh, I wish it was me. Fucking, that's a you problem, homie. You obviously have problems that you haven't come to terms with. Maybe mommy didn't love you enough. Maybe she didn't take you out to McDonald's enough. Maybe daddy didn't give you enough attention and play ball with his son. I don't know. You need to work that shit out, not me. But the fact that you're sitting here defending a grown-ass woman, preying upon teenage boys, and this one wasn't even teenage. He was 11. I wish it was me. Okay. You wish you were sexually assaulted? Sounds fucking deranged to me, but okay, that's a you problem. For everyone else out there that has a fucking normal working brain, we see it. It's fucked. And you want to sit there and say, oh, if it was an 11-year-old girl, I could understand it's disgusting, but it's an 11-year-old boy. And of course, you know, boys' hormones, blah, 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 they're always horny, blah, blah, blah. They want it. Okay. All right. Okay. I hope you don't have kids. If you're okay with having your son being fucked by some fucking grown-ass woman at the age of 11, then you should not have kids. People like that don't need to have kids because they're already setting their children up to fail. It's fucked. It's fucked. And for whatever reason, if there's anybody out there right now that has a child and they're defending this shit now and it's already too late, the child's been born, I feel bad for them. I do. If you're a father that wants to high five their kid, good job, son. You got boned by your fucking teacher. You fucking boned your teacher, whatever. You're a sicko. You're disgusting. And look, that's another thing. What if it was a male teacher fucking your son? Oh, I'm sure you wouldn't like it then. Why? What's the difference? Right? It's fucked. It's simple. If you're a grown-ass person, man or woman, and you're having sex with children, you're fucking gross, and you should be casted out from society forever. None of this bullshit about, oh, we'll give you 20 years, oh, 40. No, fucking get rid of them. If it was up to me, electric chair. Dead preds don't reoffend. Children won't get hurt again from that same predator if they're not here anymore. It's just a matter of statistics and truth. But I want to end that on that note. If this bitch ever gets out of prison, which I wouldn't be surprised if she did, it just goes to show you where our justice system is as a whole. Not just in New York or Illinois, but as a whole in this country. I mean, we already see it. On a federal level, we already see it. How do people like Diddy get away with their charges that they should have been charged with? Oh, it's no big deal. We'll just charge them with Ubering a prostitute. That's all. No big deal. And don't even get me going on the other shit that's going on. We've already touched upon that in prior episodes. But moral of the story is, from this whole episode, don't take life for granted. And be very wary of the teachers that are in the schools that are teaching our children. You just don't know what happens behind closed doors. And don't let your fucking kids sleep at some weirdo's house. I don't get that. I don't know why you would want your son or daughter at the age of 11 sleeping with a 30-something-year-old woman or man. But specifically in this case, I don't know why you would want your 11-year-old son to sleep over and have a play date with this substitute teacher who's my age. I don't get that. Think about that for a moment. If I was, say, a teacher or a substitute teacher in your kid's school, what would give you any desire to have your 11-year-old child sleep at my house? Not saying that I would want to. I'm putting that into perspective. Do you understand? It makes no fucking sense. You wouldn't want that. Why this kid's parents let that happen, and I'm not saying it's their fault entirely, but there's something weird about that people should really think about. Why did this kid's parents okay and be all right with their son, 11-year-old son, sleep over some 34, 32, whatever, your old woman's house? Makes you think. The things that make you go, think about that for a moment. If you haven't already, please head on over to our YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit the bell. If you're on YouTube already and you're watching this episode, listening to it, whatever, thank you so much. If you're on Spotify, follow us on Spotify too. But to get the best experience, YouTube is going to be the place to go. And again, go to the M-BalmEffect.com. You can get some merch there, represent the show, support the show, represent the dirty. There you go. And you can listen to the show there too. It's all hosted from the YouTube channel anyways, but it helps. It helps. But again, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our heart on this show. On behalf of not only me, but the whole crew that runs this show, we appreciate you. We love you. I know we get passionate on this show, but we do because we care. And I think at certain points, especially when I talk about the stuff that I talked about today in this episode, as a parent, it really irks me that there are people okay with children being assaulted in this manner because of their gender. Fucked up. Doesn't matter what the gender is. A child being put in that situation should never happen, and it should never be defended. And if you're defending it, you're fucked. Sorry, not sorry. You're fucked. Go get a psych evaluation. Go see a shrink. And on that note, we love you all that support us, listen to us, give us a chance. And for all you pedophile defenders and heroes of the Preds, go get a psych evaluation. You're fucked. And we hope to see you soon. Hopefully on a better note. Again, think about the things I talked about. And until then, we will hopefully be live soon. I can't guarantee you anything, but just keep your eyes and ears open. And hopefully I'll get to talk to you all. Thank you. Bye.
Well, there goes the neighborhood. It's a good thing no one got seriously hurt.
Oh my God!
Whoops, spoke too soon. Don't get too wrecked. See you on the next one.
The M-Balm Effect.